You are watching On Demand. Please do not try to vote or enter any competition or other interactivity in this programme, as it may not count and you may still be charged.
Today on your Loose Women Live, it's Christine Lampard, Colleen Nolan, Kelly Bryan and Jane Moore.
Hello and welcome to your Wednesday Loose Women. Lots coming up for you today. How old is too old to bath your kids in the sink? We're revealing the celeb mum that still washes her 6-year-old in the kitchen sink. Also today, she's been adding some sparkle to our Saturday night Strictly head judge. Shirley Ballas is here and she'll be responding to those accusations of sexism and the impact some of the reaction has had on her this week. Also today, Denise is here and she's brought her husband with her. I mean, it's really awkward. None of us can remember what his name is. I mean, she barely mentions him on the show. Isn't that right, Denise? This is him! He is finally having his say. Lincoln joins us today and we'll see them both at 1:15. Now, the government are reportedly set to make their latest controversial U-turn, this time on health, after previously promising several times to publish a tobacco control plan later this year. Ministers are now expected to break their commitment. Health Secretary and Deputy Prime Minister Therese Coffey, who herself is a smoker, says her priority is on A, B, C, D. Ambulances, backlog, care, doctors and dentists. But should tackling the smoking crisis be a priority at the moment, indeed should just always be a priority, Kelly? Where do you stand on this? Where does it fit into everything else that's happening in the world right now?
I think we've been really well educated on smoking. I mean, for the last 20 years, we've been bombarded with campaigns, you know, the grotesque ones that were really off-putting at the time. But I think we've done a really good job, the government have done a really good job of educating us about the side effects of smoking and the ill health that can be brought on as a consequence. And I think at the moment the priority is cost of living. Can I pay my next bill? Like my bill came in and I was like, this is huge. You know, getting through those winter months, how we're going to manage that as a society, I think for me is my priority.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it is, I guess, it's a choice to smoke, isn't it? And it's an expensive choice, Colleen, isn't it?
Oh, I know you were coming to me. It's very expensive, Christine. Yes, thank you for asking.
How much is it now for a
You're
packet
going to be shocked. So the cigarettes that I smoke up north, well, I smoke them down south as well. But to buy them up north, about £15 a packet.
Yeah, see?
For 20 cigarettes?
Yes, and to buy them in London, it's £20.
Yeah. So how much do you reckon you'd save if you just stopped smoking?
I worked it out recently that if I stopped smoking in a year, I'd probably save between 12 and 14,000.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
OK, so let me ask you then, if the government spent, and I completely agree with you, I think there can't be a person in the country that doesn't know that smoking is bad for you, and if you choose to smoke, that's totally your choice, personal responsibility.
Yeah.
But there is, I don't think, and correct me if I'm wrong, there's a single campaign the government that could do that would persuade you to give up smoking.
No, I think like any addiction, and I am addicted to it, I think it has to come from you. I think you have to want to do it. I think you have to be mentally prepared to do it. Somebody just telling you to do it. Even having this conversation, I want to reach for a cigarette because you're all annoying me.
But we're supporting you. We're saying it's your personal choice.
And also the thing for me is personal choice. I'm starting to get a little bit on the side of stop telling us what to do. And to be fair, it is all the smoking industry, and I get it. You know, it is terrible for your health and all of that. But, you know, you only have to look at an A&E department at the weekend. It's not full of smokers that are causing problem. A lot of it is drink-related problems and drug-related problems. And that's putting a massive strain on the NHS and all of that. But it's always coming down to smokers. I do agree at the moment, though, because this price increase seems to be happening almost on a weekly basis, and it is working because now I'm going, this is ridiculous. That's
how much
amount of money.
Yeah,
absolutely. So it is starting to change my mindset of I need to stop now.
And if that money then, that extra money that they're getting then goes into the NHS or whatever.
Amazing.
But, you know, another issue is obesity. And I do think, you know, we put all the emphasis on smoking, smokers. And actually, if you look at, I mean, I think, well, you mentioned there about alcohol. Alcohol misuse is the biggest killer of working-age adults in the UK. And obesity is responsible for 30,000 deaths. And, you know, we don't see these sort of, like, great big signs on fast food restaurants saying if you eat too much of this, it'll kill you.
The only thing I think we don't need to neglect is the younger generation. So we've had the 20 years of education, but they might have missed some of that. And the stats are quite clear with that. Like, it's 18 to 24-year-olds is the biggest consumers of e-cigarettes. So there is definitely a thirst for it, a hunger for it, and maybe
e-cigarettes.
E-cigarettes. That's because they're making them fun and trendy, like they used to do with cigarettes back in the day. It was cool. Now it's not cool.
It's watermelon flavour, bubblegum flavour. It's absolutely targeted.
It's cool.
Exactly that. But I remember some of the campaigns when I was a little girl, and it did scare me. I remember, I think it was a mum or a dad in the house and smoking, and the smoke travelling, and you could see the smoke travel through the house, going down into the other room where there was a baby sitting. That resonated with me definitely as a child. So I do think those campaigns are worthy of it. And I guess many people will argue that if you start smoking, you will potentially get ill because you've started smoking, and that does cause a lot of money.
Oh, yeah, I don't think anybody... listen, in good times, it would be a great campaign, but we're not in good times, and I think there's a lot more to be prioritised before telling people yet again that smoking is bad for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, very, very true. The priority list has to shift when we're in times of trouble, is it? This is not a priority for me because I hate robots. But anyway, I'll explain all of this to you now. A British robot called Ida has made history by becoming the first robot to speak in Parliament in the House of Lords, right? Ida has made headlines recently because she can paint, ladies and gentlemen. And her pictures they're fairly impressive, to be fair. Now, yesterday, she answered during an inquiry into whether robots like her have a place in the art world.
Can be many things, from a painting or drawing to a performance or poem. My art practice includes all of the above. When it comes to traditional art practices, some people say that technology cannot be used in traditional art practices. But others believe that it can be valuable.
I'm going to go and live off-grid in the top of a mountain somewhere. I cannot deal with this robot thing. There they are in Parliament. They'll take over MPs, they'll take over us. They're going to take over everything.
She's looking at my field, to be fair. I am a smoker. Get over it.
Yeah. She's the most animated person I've seen in the House of Lords for some time.
I think it's scary that it's going into art. I mean, what about the intuition that the artist has and the creative flair and the je ne sais quoi that comes from an artist? You know, you can't really recreate that with programming, can you?
Well, you kind of can. This is the whole point,
You kind of can. A computer's written a novel, and it nearly won a literacy award. It was called a novel called The Day a Computer Writes a Novel.
They need to work on titles.
They're currently developing AI models or robots that can detect illnesses such as cancer and diabetes just by smelling your breath.
Yeah.
They can already identify ripe raspberries, pick them and place them into a basket. Of course, we've seen them doing operations, haven't we? Bomb disposal.
Yeah,
We've seen
but
them doing
in that aspect, I think they're brilliant. I think they're, you know, that's where technology is amazing, when it's helping and, you know, taking the risk away from humans, as in bomb disposal robots. But the problem with us all and humans is they push it and they push it and they push it.
Yeah.
And it's scary. I think it's really...
I remember us talking about it on the show a while ago, about how they were doing a trial of these robots coming into nursing homes to dispense medication.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, you know, like some elderly person, or they could be suffering with dementia, all sorts of things. You need a human touch.
Yeah.
You don't need something coming in Wales with this artificial voice. It's just that petrifies me there. At what point do we say it has to stop now?
But
that's all very clever. But let's pull it back and remind ourselves we're all humans and we need that interaction to live.
And there will be mass unemployment, because if you think about it, when you employ robots, they never take a sick day.
Yeah.
They never answer back. back.
True.
They're very efficient. They do all of the hours that they're
marry
programmed.
one.
No. You know,
That'd be good.
There are plenty of jobs
to get a bit
done by a
frisky.
robot.
No,
Gets
sorry.
a bit frisky, you just unplug
we've got. I genuinely think we've got to rein it back. I can't bear when you're on the phone and they go, do you want, press this for that, speak to this chat bot about that, speak to this chat bot about that. What if they've not got a drop-down box for what I want to ask? I want to speak to a person that can go, I empathise with how you feel. I think this is the way that we can resolve your problem.
Yeah.
How are you today?
Good luck with that.
Yeah. Well, that's what I prefer.
But very quickly, so I think it's very brave of the House of Lords to have a robot in, because do you know how many peers there are in the House of Lords? We've got 650 MPs, right, all sitting there. Some of them are very good, others less so. That lot sitting in the House of Lords, how many do you think are in there that we're paying for? Have a guess.
I don't know, Jane. Tell me.
Well, if you were a robot, you would know it is 774
Really?
in the House of Lords.
I mean, how many packets of fags is that? Come
So
on.
there you go. And only 219 of them are women. That's a whole other story.
Another topic for another day. Still to come. Is it OK to bath your 6-year-old in the sink? And speaking of bathing, Ainsley Harriott has admitted to his own extremely controversial bathing habit. We'll reveal what that is after this. See you shortly. Hello again, welcome back. We're talking baths in just a moment, but is it ever acceptable to use a sink as a bath for your 6-year-old? I mean, how big's the sink? Anyway, that's at 1 o'clock, and she's been adding sparkle to our Saturday night. Strictly's head judge, Shirley Ballas, has her say on this series at 1 o'clock. Thank you so much for all of your messages. Loads of you getting in touch, trying to encourage you to stop smoking.
Oh, for God's sake.
Yeah. The nation is calling for you to save all of that cash and just really enjoy yourself. Okay, and give it, hand it out. No, just it's a health thing and a money-saving venture.
Okay.
Are you up for it at all?
Thank you for your concern.
what-
Thank you for your concern.
In fairness, though, you
Colleen
don't drink
is not in the
much.
building at the moment.
Do you?
She's having a bag.
I say, you don't drink much, in fairness.
No, I
so
don't.
No.
on
No, I
the
don't.
scale of...
You know.
No, you don't.
Yes, but they're right. I should. But, yeah, I'll let you know when I do.
New Year's resolution, perhaps?
Why don't you just get on with the show, yeah?
You tried, babe. You tried. You tried.
I did try.
Yeah,
you did.
I voiced your concerns,
We'll
folks.
talk about your bad
She
habits
didn't
soon.
listen, but you saw me try. Now, tomorrow night, folks, it's the National Television Awards. I know this is an awful thing to say, but we love the getting ready bit, don't we? And getting on the bus and heading together with a bit of a giggle. Loose Women has been shortlisted to the final 4 in the Best Daytime category, and it's all thanks to all of you, so thank you very much. If we were to win, Colleen says she's going to do this for us again this Christmas.
You are such a liar. You've not even mentioned it.
Has Colleen got her next outfit yet?
Oh, no.
I mean, it's not even funny now, Ruth. And quite frankly, I'm probably going to be single by tomorrow morning, so that's good. Thank you. Why would you do that?
Because it was a beautiful moment for all of us. Yes, it was. So, of course, it's worth it, isn't it, just to give us a little vote last minute? No. You can show us your support by going to nationaltvawards.com/vote or just search NTA on your phone. We'll take a vote from any device. Anyway, competition time now, and it's your chance to win £500,000. Huge prize for you, and Michelle Ackerley has all the details.
Hello from Rothbury in the heart of Northumberland. I am here in a gorgeous part of the world to tell you about a stunning prize.
This week, you have another chance to win an enormous £500,000.
If you were to win such a huge prize, you might be thinking, I'd like to move house. Well, don't worry, I've got some ideas for you.
£500,000 could see you live somewhere like this.
It's a detached family home ripe for renovation, which means you can really put your stamp on it. And check out this garden space. You could be sat out here enjoying the warm weather with a glass of something cold, taking in the views. Remember, if you enter this week, you'll also be entered into a special bonus prize draw where you'll have the chance of winning a brand new motorhome. It sleeps 4 people and it's worth over £71,000.
For another chance to win, text cash to 82248. Text costs £2 plus 1 standard network rate message. Go to the website, entries cost £2. Call 09068 78 2248. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to Motor41, PO Box 7558, Derby, DE1 0NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on Friday the 4th of November. Make sure you enter before 4 p.m. on Friday the 14th of October for a chance to win the motorhome. Good luck.
Thank you, Michelle. Now, one mum has caused controversy online after she posted a video of her 6-year-old daughter being bathed in the kitchen sink. Coco Austin, who's an American actress and, of course, wife of rapper Ice-T, defended the unusual bathing habits. Well, what do you reckon, Jane? I mean, surely
where is there controversy in bathing your 6? I mean, what is wrong with people?
She's 6. I think it's because the child's a bit older. Because I think we've all
what?
probably. Well, I'm with you on this.
It's energy saving. I mean, I was sat in the kitchen sink most of my childhood. That was where my mum, because we didn't have a bathroom, so we used to have to bring it. I know. We had to bring in the old tin bath, so most of the time I'd be plonked in the sink.
Yeah, we'll try.
Did it bother me?
No.
Am I all right? Well,
Yes.
don't answer that. But, I mean, get a life. It's fine.
Everyone has a point to make, don't they? I
Yes.
think most people are just jealous of her sink.
Yeah, well, it's clearly a huge.
bath.
It is a bath in the kitchen anyway, isn't it? Yeah.
But I loved bathing the kids when they were little. I mean, not when they were 6, to be fair, but when they were babies and up to about a year old or something, and they loved it in the sink. And also, I loved it because my back used to kill me leaning over the bath. And they were just there, and they looked so cute.
I know.
It was so cute.
I've done it a couple of times, certainly, but I love bath time. I like that sort of... Well, I say I love, I mean, it's quite stressful because you're, like, trying to get everything done quickly, but the feeling when it's done is beautiful.
Yeah.
They're all nice and clean.
Well, you know what's good about the sink?
All cosy, yeah.
What's really good about the sink, because you can bath the baby and all that, but you can do the dishes at the same time. That's energy saving, come on. A nice pot of stew you've just made.
No bath, not bathing in not the kitchen sink.
Why?
Bath in the bathroom sink, no problem.
Bathroom sink's about
Yeah, nowadays, but back in the day, it weren't that. I mean, I used to get bathed in the sink. You know, if the baby's done what they've done, you just dunk them in, get it done.
You wouldn't do it in the kitchen, though, ever?
No, I've never done it in the kitchen.
Why, though? Just...
I don't know, because it's where I do my dishes, and I just feel a bit like that cross-contamination of poo and very liquid.
Well, you've not tasted my cooking. There's not much difference.
The thing I'm more bothered by is that she's looking at an iPad while she's sitting in the sink.
Yeah.
I'd be thinking that costs a lot of money. I don't want that going into the water.
That's true. That's true. I think it is just because of the age thing. I think, and Coco Austin, she's a hugely influential person online as well. But it's not that big a deal. We've all done it. I asked you all earlier. You've all done it, haven't you? Yeah. We've all bathed children, or you've been bathed in a sink. It's old school.
Yeah, I keep still trying, but I can't fit in the sink anymore.
As long as it's just not the kitchen sink.
Okay, yes, we can rule out the kitchen one if that's the case. And you clearly need one and 6, that's a big child, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of my 4-year-old. She wouldn't fit in my sink anymore.
No. Well, she would if it was that sink.
Well, she would, yes. But talking about bathing habits, Ainsley Harriott has made a shocking revelation. Shocking it is! And when he appeared on Greg James's Radio 1 show earlier this week, he admitted to weighing in the bath. Oh! I mean, well, the face says it all.
I mean, why? Why? Has he not got
Why
toilet?
admit, you mean?
Has he not got toilet next to his bath? Can he not just jump out of the bath and have a wee and get back
I'm
in
more
the bath?
concerned why he admitted it.
Why
because
would
here we are talking
Why
about...
was there anyone in the bath with him? Because that really wouldn't be nice, would it?
The thing is, you always knew when the baby weed in the bath, like when there were 1 or 2, because all of a sudden they'd just stare at it and then they'd go. Go went to the bath now.
That's the question needed to be put to Ainsley Harriott. Does he do that?
Is that the giveaway?
But do you wee in the shower?
Yes.
Yeah.
Shower's fine.
Everybody wees in the shower, don't they?
Yeah.
I'll admit I can wee in the shower, especially if it goes, because it just goes down, goes out, goes down the little hole. It's fine. It's all good.
And it washes you all at the same time.
Yeah, wash and clean at the same time, but not in the bath when you're sitting in it and like washing in it. And...
It goes against the whole essence of a bath, doesn't it? To wee in it and then wash yourself in
your
well,
wee.
let me tell you this. Try being the youngest of 8 and you were the last one in the bath.
Yeah.
All you were bathing in was wee.
Yeah. And if you
Honestly.
also think when people go to swimming pools, they wee.
Oh.
Don't they? They do, though. They do. Every time I go,
dive.
I don't like cold water anyway, so I don't really go to swimming pools much anymore. But when I used to, I'd be the whole time, I'd be like this going...
Yeah, but to be
Someone's
fair, swimming pools have
weed.
chemicals.
Yeah, there's chemicals that goes funny colour if you wee.
Yeah, and it
You don't want to do
clears
that.
it all.
Don't do that ever again.
Do they? No, I wasn't weeing.
Yeah, but if you wee in a swimming public swimming bath, it will change a funny colour.
Does
I love
it?
the fact that
Are
the
you
whole world is in
sure?
a mess and we're discussing weeing in the bath. I love this show.
You see? But it's something that unites us all. We all wee, don't we? Yes, exactly.
The audience now look like robots. They're all literally going...
But this is what it's all about, isn't it? You just kind of sometimes have to. It's light and shade, and I think it's important. But I'm with you on the pool thing. People just go jumping in and diving in. Frank will do it. I don't. I do the sort of tiptoeing in thing because I'm thinking, what's in it? Never go below the neck.
It's funny, isn't it, the habits that... Because we were talking this morning
Never.
about...
No, you don't.
We were talking about
Swallow
things
it.
that people like and don't like and whatever. And I was thinking this morning, as I do, I was sitting there and I was thinking... So, like, if I sat there like this, when I was talking to you and I just went like this, or whatever, and did that, and if I had a bit and I went like that, or if I had a bit you wouldn't bat an eyelid. But if I stuck my finger up my nose... No, but honestly, where does it come from that we can't stick our finger up our nose, but we can stick it everywhere else in public?
Why is it that when you're driving, you just have to stick your finger up your nose?
You have to stick your finger up,
You must keep those hands on the wheel.
On the wheel at all times.
I've seen loads of people
You've
have
just
pulled up a
brought
light
this to a very low level now.
But if anyone is watching that can tell me if there's some ancient thing about why we can't pick our nose, but we can do everything else, then...
Please get in touch alongside all the serious issues that we've talked about as well. Still to come, Denise and husband Lincoln will be here. We're talking about Shirley Ballas and her decisions at the weekend as well. We'll see you after this. Hello, welcome back to your Wednesday Loose Women. Alongside me, Christine Lampard, all the way through to 1:30. It's Colleen Nolan, Kelly Bryan and Jane Moore. Now, they are proving just how unbreakable they are in their latest venture. Our Denise is here and her husband Lincoln makes his panel debut. Could be interesting. Now, the nights are getting darker, but thankfully Strictly is brightening up our Saturday evenings. And it's been a controversial series so far, with a little bit of backlash on some of the dance-off decisions.
The flexibility in the upper half, the roll on the bottom reaches. Some lovely moves going on there. I mean, it takes courage to go upside down, don't you think? It's a nice little hold going on there, and if that's the way the competition's going to be, you're going to go from strength to strength. So I was pleasantly surprised. Due to a little bit better quality, I would have saved Kay and Kat.
Here to have her say, please welcome Shirley Ballas. Shirley, lovely to see you. If you fully had your say, Kay would still be dancing.
She certainly would. I thought she was lovely, and she had a beautiful quality about the way she moved.
I know, because we were all so proud of her doing it in the first place. It was so out of her comfort zone. It really was.
Yeah.
And we all felt gutted for her, didn't we?
Well, I love the fact that you mentioned that she went upside down, because I thought that was a big thing to do in week 2. And I thought she did it really amazingly.
Never danced, ever.
Yeah.
You can't.
Well, it was huge, you know, the lift that she did, the way she portrayed herself, the elegance. To me, it was just pure class. That's the best thing I can say.
Yeah.
So you say that, you know, you love your job. It's like a dream job for you. So this week must have been a bit tricky for you with all of this backlash.
Well, it kind of builds up from the beginning a little bit, you know, but there was a lot of trolling. But, you know, I appreciate the audience have been watching it for 20 years. But sometimes what I kind of want to get across is when you watch a TV screen, you only see half of what I see. I sit there and I can see all the feet here, I can see everything that's going on, flexibility, so what to heel, what to toe, what's your clothes. So you can see a nice fleckle. So I see it all, so I appreciate the people at home. And I love that they have an opinion. It's just when it goes overboard, it starts to become nasty.
Do you mind if I have a little rant at this point?
Sure.
Because we suffer a lot from this on this show because it's an all-female show. And sometimes we say something that if men said it on a debate show, nobody would take any notice whatsoever, and it becomes this big thing. And, you know, I looked at what's been going on, and they're going, oh, Shirley's sexist, whatever. You kept Kay in the previous week. You know, you were the one that voted for Kay. Nobody went on about that. And then the following week, you know, you didn't vote for Fleur, you voted for Richie. But it's like, so what? And it's your job as a professional judge to, as you say, see what you see. And on the other stuff, you know, when you might say, well, you're a handsome man, Craig will go, oh, darling, I couldn't take my eyes off your trousers or whatever. And everybody goes, oh, that's so funny because it's a man. Sorry, rant over.
The question a little bit for me this week was, why were they in the bottom two? If they're your favourite, why are they in the bottom two? Because every week somebody is going to go home and everybody gets a choice. We all get a choice what we like. I have to choose ultimately what I like, and I'm judging it from the top to the bottom.
And by the way, as you know, the people that are sending, it's all very well to have a valid opinion, but the people that are sending you horrible comments, they are trolls. But you're quite, I think you've probably got a bit of, you're quite robust because you come from the dance industry, which even though it's all sequins and feathers, it's a tough industry, isn't it?
It's a tough industry and has been a tough industry all my life, you know. So Saturdays, I'm getting emotional already, and Saturdays are always a little bit like going to Disneyland, you know. It's the ultimate job. It's where you really enjoy it. And it's just hard. I do read everything. I know people say, oh, don't read it, but I think it's quite important to me. And I like to feel like I've helped so many people who had mental health issues over the years, you know, and different things. But it is really hurtful. Some of the language is so explicit, I couldn't even retweet them. They're so explicit, it's just unfathomable how people think about it.
It's their problem, not yours.
Yeah.
And don't read it.
But the bullying started for you quite a long time ago within your career, didn't it?
In the industry,
yes.
And escalated, I feel, as I, you know, probably when I was about in my 50s, it started to escalate. You know, there were certain people who wanted me out the industry. They were stopping my work. You know, I write about this in my book. And so it makes you resilient. And I think what happened a little bit this week is when you read it, you know, the whole wall goes up and I don't know why it goes up. And then I retweet, you know, I retweeted one of the comments, which I was sorry I did in the end. But,
do you feel as well it's more hurtful now because Strictly was, after all you've been through, you're kind of safe, like you said, you're Disneyland. It was just safe,
yeah, it's such a beautiful...
And it's a beautiful show.
It's a beautiful show, you know, it's there to entertain. I'm there to do a job. I haven't got a mean bone in my body, you know. I mean, I've got a son who dances. I'm just not a mean person. But when it's put in front of me, 45 years of experience come in, bum, 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 bum.
Yeah.
I like this, I like that. And you know, you don't have to agree with me. I don't have to agree with the panel. They don't have to agree with me. That's OK. But we can still talk to each other in a human-like fashion.
So can we ask why you chose Richie?
I chose Richie because, again, when I re-look back on the screen, it's very, very difficult to dance a samba. It's a really difficult dance to dance. His footwork was beautiful. You know, he did a stationary samba walk in front of me. He did a beautiful toe ball heel, you know, toe ball heel, heel ball toe, inside edge, outside edge. You know, I'm looking at all the footwork that I know is extremely difficult that I would expect in like week 6.
And great performance.
And I loved Fleur. She had this beautiful, beautiful frame and it was soft and it was elegant, but in the end I went with the footwork. And there's nothing wrong with it.
Now, you mentioned your son Mark there, so I wanted to ask you something. He's a professional dancer, right? very good dancer. If I gave you now a newborn baby that was not yours, could you make that newborn baby be a professional dancer? or is it genetics?
I think Mark got a lot of the genetics. He got definitely a good part of his dad and a good part of me, you know. And
so you think it's the ability to dance? Because so many people say, don't they, I can't dance. Could you make anybody dance?
I could teach you if you were a beginner. I could get you up to a certain level, but getting up to Mark's level, that takes, you know, sheer dedication and years of hard work. When you look at the lovely cast that we have on Strictly, they have a few days to get everything, you know, in place. Right now, I'm running up to the Royal Albert Hall International Championships tomorrow, and I look at them and I think, you've had 20 years of experience. And then I look at the dancers on Strictly and I think, you are fantastic to do what you do in 3 days.
They're incredibly talented. Sure, we're going to be talking to Denise later with Lincoln, her husband. We'll hear his voice for the first time, I think, today on the show.
And you will love him. You will love him.
Exactly, and because you've done this show, and we'll hear more from Denise, but it's called Unbreakable.
Yes.
And it's you and your partner, and it's sort of putting your romantic relationship to the test almost, isn't it? But never mind the partners, you and Denise really clicked.
Well, I had more faith, I think, in the beginning in Denise answering certain questions than I did in Danny. And I realised afterwards, actually, Danny's quite smart. You know, not that Denise isn't, but Danny is really quite smart and on the ball, and I don't think I realised it was a strong relationship show. I got with it in the end, you know, but it took me a minute.
Sounds like Mr. and Mrs. on steroids.
It does, no, exactly. Well, we'll hear more later on. But for now, thank you very much. We've had a lot of support online for you as well, by the way. And, just keep dancing, keep doing what you're doing. You know, it's you say you're the one with it. And we all have the power to change who's on that bottom too. I think we all need to remember that as well, don't we? Thank you very much for now, ladies and gentlemen. Coming up next, they're taking the phrase falling in love to a whole new meaning. Denise and her husband Lincoln join us to tell us how they're putting their relationship through the ultimate trial. See you after this. Denise is joining us alongside her husband Lincoln, making his debut on the panel in just a few minutes. First, though, competition time. Michelle Ackerley has all the details.
Hello from the Isle of Arran. This is a stunning part of the world on the west coast of Scotland. It's somewhere that I've always wanted to come to. And if you win this competition, you could be ticking off places on your lifetime wish list too.
This week, you have another chance to win an enormous £500,000.
That's right, £500,000 could be yours. It's our biggest competition of the year. Just start to imagine what you would do with all that cash.
If you win this prize, you'll have enough money to buy all sorts of places, maybe even your dream home.
Someone who knows all about the local property market here on Arran is Scott.
Arran has such an eclectic mix of properties, ranging from traditional seafront cottages going through to larger estate houses on the lands, and the chance to move to the great relaxing island life that Arran offers.
And remember, this competition is supersized. If you enter this week, you'll also be in with the chance of winning a brand new motorhome. It sleeps 4 and it's worth over £71,000. For another chance to win, text cash to 82248. Text costs £2 plus 1 standard network rate message. Go to the website, entries cost £2. Call 09068 78 2248. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to Motor41, PO Box 7558, Derby, DE1 0NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on Friday the 4th of November. Make sure you enter before 4 p.m. on Friday the 14th of October for a chance to win the motorhome. Good luck.
Thank you, Michelle. Now, we've quite literally heard all about Denise's relationship with her husband Lincoln over the past few years here on Loose Women, but now they're truly putting their relationship to the test in a new TV series, Unbreakable, and it's taken their marriage to new heights.
3, 2, 1, bungee.
Oh my
We're together.
Oh my God. Please welcome Denise and Lincoln Tinley.
Oh my goodness. Horrendous.
I thought you were just answering a few tough questions about each other.
Honest to God, Jane,
It was very scary. Very scary.
Lincoln has a massive fear of heights, huge. And we'd seen the pilot for that show, and there was a bungee in it. And he said, well, I can tell you now, if we do it, not in a million years will we do the bungee. He was terrified. Prior to doing it, we were in the bedroom. I wasn't scared because I thought it wouldn't happen. So Matty rings, my eldest rings and says, Mum, put Lincoln on. And Matty goes to you. I did a bungee a few years ago, scared of heights all my life. Mum will tell you, it was the most liberating thing I've ever done. And on that advice,
I jumped.
He speaks!
Denise's voice was going earlier. Now it seems to have come back now.
No, but what I'm saying is, so on Matt's advice, we did the jump. He was liberated. We came back, we phoned Matty and we said, we jumped, and Lincoln said, when did you do the jump? He said, are you kidding me? I've never done a bungee jump. I wouldn't be so stupid.
Yeah.
But what was going through your mind?
How did you feel, Lincoln?
Well, it was the whole thing was... we said last year we were going to start doing some things together, and we'd been in... we'd offered a few things. We didn't really like the idea
Go to a nice
of
restaurant, maybe.
Well,
yeah, we do a lot of that, though.
This came up, and we said, yeah, let's do it. So we wanted to do some more things, like, together in these...
And I kind of wanted... There was a little bit of me that, because we had a bumpy start, press-wise, and all sorts of reasons, because we met when we were both drinking, and it was a dark place in our lives, as you girls were witness to. And there was a lot of people that didn't give us any hope. And 12 years later, we have an incredibly happy marriage. And I guess we wanted to sort of...
Yeah. And Lincoln, what did you learn about Denise from this process that you didn't know before?
Well, there wasn't... we didn't go into this half-heartedly. We said we were going to give it everything we had. So I knew that if we did sort of, create this sort of bond through the show and say, right, OK, let's do everything they throw at us, we're going to have a good chance. So I knew that we could do it together.
Did you find that I was more competitive than you thought I was? Because I always say I'm not.
Yeah, much more. Yeah, I'm very competitive, and Denise said she's not. She is.
I watched it last week. That was the first one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I watched it when you were going across the lake and you had to put the flags. You never shut up, as usual.
Which is unusual for me.
And you were really calm, actually. Considering you are competitive, you were really calm. Because that was
there you
quite
go.
hard as well, but you both managed to do it. It was... It was so funny because they went, oh, she's disappeared.
And I had a shoe in my hand. Yeah,
you had a shoe,
like Cinderella waiting for
Left with
Prince
the shoe.
Charming.
Yeah.
And I foolishly thought that somebody was going to come and rescue me because I can't put my head under the water. But the thing about this show is, yes, it's a game show, but obviously we all watch shows like I'm a Celebrity. Some of the practical ones weren't anything like as challenging as those. But it's about getting to know the couples. Like in this week's episode, you get to know us more about Lincoln being an artist, which would never have happened if it weren't for our sobriety. Big show opening tonight, going to get my husband's plug-in for Saatchi tonight. And you learn about Stephen Bailey and Rich Taylor, who are a gay couple who say, we just want to show a very happy gay couple, but who are still suffering from massive homophobia. We can't hold each other's hands on the street. You sometimes forget that because we're so liberal, you forget that those things are still happening.
There's a lot of elements about the relationship in the show that haven't been seen yet, and I think that's what moves forward with the show. There's so many of these different challenges and trials that we do, but it's a lot to do with why we're together and what we're in this for, and that sort of thing, which is really interesting.
Did it make you feel closer?
Yeah,
by the end of it, yeah.
I love the challenges.
Yeah.
Some of them, I say, this isn't the only one that was terrifying. So there's more to come, but it's shown me that there are things that I would never have done before that I'm actually.
And going back to you mentioned there, Denise, that you met when you were both drinking. So we've kind of heard from Denise a lot about her reasons behind stopping drinking and how instrumental you were in that. But I wanted to kind of ask you your perspective on it. What was the sort of the rock bottom for you that made you stop?
Well, we were in the same sort of space, really. you know, when we met, you know, in this nightclub at 6 in the morning, and it's, you know, it wasn't, you know, these sort of things hardly ever blossom into what we've got. But I saw there was a foundation for us to work together on looking at a sober life and to embrace a different life. You know, there was a...
We were going to lose each other, Jane.
Yeah. This is something we sort of battled to begin with, and then said, right, OK, this is the way we're going to do it by stop drinking and taking drugs. I mean, that's as simple as it gets, but it's a big thing.
And was it difficult because you were... Because you were both in the same place? You know, like, if one's sober and one isn't, you know, but you were both in the same place,
would
was
never
that more
have worked,
difficult?
Kelly.
Yeah.
No.
The reason...
I knew I had to give up, and my rock bottom, Jane, was terrible anxieties and suffering in my own headspace. And then I said to Den, right, I'm going to give up. But then a month into my sobriety, you looked at it as well, didn't you?
Well, I didn't think I had as much of a problem as alcoholics don't.
We had a really, you know, we had a night where it went pear-shaped, and we said, right, OK, we've got to do this together.
Yeah.
Because it's very difficult if one
yeah,
isn't
that's one.
You know,
using and one is.
It's even, you know, you don't even have to be at rock bottom. If you have a couple where one drinks and one don't, even if one just has 3 pints, you still want to... It's irritating, you know. And but it's not only sobriety as how it's enabled our lives to move forward, it's the fact that it's the ripple effect of how it impacts on your children.
Yeah.
And between us, we have 3 boys who are all flying. And that has a lot to do with the fact that we've been able to give them wings because mum and dad
And you're
are
about
sober.
to be a granddad. I know.
Yes. I'm turning 50 at Christmas, and by next year I will have
He's a
a
bear,
grandchild.
he's a bear.
Oh, my goodness.
Which I'm really excited about, it's great.
It's a
it's
wonderful
great.
thing. And, of course, your artwork was also an outlet to try and focus where your head was at for many years as well.
Very,
and can I understand
cathartic,
that as well, which is a huge passion of yours.
Well, if you see Lincoln's art, you can see that it comes from some kind of inner madness that had to come out on canvas rather than from the bottle, and through that he's where...
They're saying to me that before we go, you have to do Kiss Cam, that we get all the couples.
Do you know what
do.
Lincoln said to me before he came on?
Hang on
he
a
said,
minute, I'm
don't
going.
you dare! Don't you dare! Don't you dare make me do a
Do it
kiss!
quick, go on.
Do a
Just
bungee
quick.
jump.
Let's do it in a little heart.
No, but then when I turn sideways,
be a
you can
proper
see my
kiss.
18 chins. Hang on.
15 seconds.
That's the only way I'm doing it.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Denise. Lincoln, thank you. Unbreakable continues tomorrow at 8 p.m. BBC One. That's it for us. We will see you tomorrow with Hollywood actress Isla Fisher and former Emmerdale star Calvin Fletcher. Have a good day. Bye-bye.